How's it going, family? Let me know if you can hear me. Just gonna give it a couple minutes so that people could come in. Just sent out a notification a little bit ago. Got about 100 people hanging out with us already. Beautiful. Just gonna say hi to everyone and then we'll get going. Eleonora says 2 years already and happy and grateful to have been on this journey with the Wolfpack. Thank you, Jordan, for all your work and time. I appreciate you, Eleonora. Much love. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Jorgen, much love. Jay, Tanya. Shout out to Bosnia. Amazing. So everyone, you go to wait on typing in coins right now. That's something we'll save for later. I'll let you guys know when we are game time for coin time. But for now, just letting some people get in. Gonna say hi to some people. Then we're gonna be going through some dates, gematria, numerology connections. Gonna be going over the charts. We have a lot to talk about today in the Bitcoin chart for sure. Had a big 3-month candle close come in. So this way we could all pay attention to the analysis and decoding, and then when that's all over, I'll let you guys know when it's time. We'll start chatting and answering some questions. Patricia Steer, I appreciate you. Sending lots of love over to Houston, Texas. M. Davis, Breach Warrior, Pablito, Silver Beast. Appreciate all y'all. Much love over to Tucson, Arizona. Lamar over in Afghanistan. Sending you love. Great to have Wolfpack all over the realm. It's beautiful to see. Ray Becker, appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Paula Rose, much love. Pro Noob over in England. Poland in the house. Portugal, Switzerland. It's dope. Got Netherlands Wolfpack with us. Yeah, we might do a quick overview of Hex because I've had a lot of that, kind of those calls that I was sharing on prior interviews that I've done come to life, and now everyone that has come over from the Hex community over to my work from those podcasts and interviews have been shown a lot of love, and they've been very open-minded to what we're doing over here, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful that we've been able to tap into some other communities in the crypto sphere and bring a more open-minded and esoteric approach to the markets. Gonzo, sending you love. Hope you and the whole 3T Warrior Academy are doing incredibly on this fine Sunday, April 2nd. Mr. Jansen, appreciate you showing up, brother. Hope you're doing well. Got Belgium in the house. British Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we're going to get into it now because we're getting about 200 people here. Ellen, shout out to being a YouTube member for 3 months. You got green pilled. It's beautiful. Cheers from Florida. Love the work you do and the knowledge you share. Much love. I appreciate you, Ellen. Hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be a great episode today. I'm really excited. Again, for any of you that are new here and haven't seen a Red Pill podcast ever, well, welcome. It's great to have you here with us. I usually record these, so this is a very special event. I don't normally live stream. I've only done one live stream before of these red pills, and I had a great time doing it, but I was a little rushed. Unfortunately, I just had a lot going on that day, and I could only dedicate a little bit of time. But today, I have a little bit more extra time to come hang out and share with you guys my thoughts on any questions that you have. So I'll kind of open it up at the end to like a Q&A, and of course, kind of keep it focused on the markets. It's not like a normal live stream that I do, like the one we did yesterday. We're going to try to keep this one actually focused on the charts and the markets and all things crypto, money, finances, abundance, wealth, etc. And just overall wealth planning. It's really what we're about here. Having a sophisticated investment thesis, a wealth plan that you have designed, and when this market comes to you, you take action because you had a plan and you are trading that plan. That's really what matters most in this market. And here we're all about self-reliance. We're all about teaching skills. This is all about you being able to take this concept, strategy, techniques, tips, etc., and apply it to what you're interested in. Because I'm not going to be able to look at every single crypto out there. I don't have the time to decode every single crypto out there. But I've been showing you the skills since day one so that you could apply that to whatever you're interested in. That's really what we're about here as a community as well. Sharing, collaboration, having open-minded, philosophical, spicy debates once in a while. Sometimes a wolf will nip a little bit, but it's all good. Sometimes you need a love bite. But anyways, let's move this one on. I'm just going to check through the chat one more time, make sure that I am coming through loud and clear. I believe that you guys said that I am sounding good. And we're getting close to that 200 viewers mark, so this is probably a good time for us to move in. All right. One moment, guys. Sending you all love. I really appreciate all the kind words. And final update of today, I will be coming out with some information regarding the launch date and some of the preview. I don't want to call it like a sneak peek necessarily just yet, but I'll be sharing some more information about my upcoming decoding mastermind. So I've been getting a lot of people asking about it, and I've been furiously decoding in the background. And, you know, the way that I kind of operate is I spend maybe 80% of my time working on a course as me trimming the fat. Because I have a lot to say, I have a lot to go into, but I want to bring utility to everyone. I want to give you something that's easy to digest. You could comprehend it at any level. So it'll be my beginner level decoding course. It'll teach the foundation of decoding. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore today because I want to focus on our Red Pill podcast. But I just want to let you know I will be sharing updates on that soon because I've been getting that question a lot. When will it come out? How much will it cost? What will it be like about, etc.? So this is just my way of saying that I will definitely let you know when that is all prepared and ready. And if I had to give a loose release date, it would probably be sometime before August. I really would like to get it out. Even close to the summer solstice would be ideal, you know, but I don't want to rush it because I really would like to create the best decoding course ever. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's the energy that I have behind it. I want to create the best decoding course out there. So with that being said, let's move into some dates, and then we'll be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I'll be going over, let me tell you guys real quick, IOTA, Solana, Quant, and Theta token. And then I will let you guys know that we're ready to submit some coins in the chat. When we get to that phase, please just submit one. No spamming. I don't want to be... We don't deal with that energy here, okay? I'm just letting you know now because we want this to be a positive and chill and easy flowing experience. We want to be in flow state, and spamming and submitting 10 coins from one person will get us out of that flow state. So again, respect everyone's time, my time, and keep it high vibes up in here. So without further ado, you guys are... Actually, let me know if you can see my screen clearly right now. I just want to really make sure that this is running smoothly before I continue on this presentation. So if you guys can in the chat, let me know that you see this date calculator, and then I'll continue. I just want to make sure because I had to adjust some settings in order to do this live stream. Okay, great. Gonzo has let me know that you could hear. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to put the chat away for a moment. I'm going to do my thing, and let's get going. So tomorrow, naturally being Monday, Moon Day, it will be April 3rd in the Gregorian system. Now, a couple things to mention here is this will be 17 days away from our upcoming eclipse, and that number 17 is the 7th prime number. It is the 14 standard date numerology. That is 7 plus 7. We're getting a lot of sevens here, and why this matters a lot is because it's the 93rd day of the year, and that 93 ties back to Saturn, and the number of Saturn is all sevens. So please pay attention to these connections, but we're at the 93rd day of the year. We got this 17 days apart from the upcoming solar eclipse. That's a 7th prime, excuse me. We got that 7 in the date numerology. And even if you wanted to look at the double digit date numerology, which I like to do quite often, you have this 4 plus 3 plus 20 plus 23 adding up to 50, and 50 is the number for Jubilee. So we've been talking about this for a while now, especially since the Jubilee Decoded video I released. You have the Shemitah is every 7 years, and then 7 times 7 cycles is 49 years, and on your 50th year, you practice Jubilee. So this is all kind of adding out to a balance to me, the fact that I'm getting all these numbers right now. And another thing is if you just look at the dates itself, 4 plus 3 equals 7, right? You have 3 plus 2 equals 7. You see how many 7s are in this date? So I prepared what I'm showing to you guys today almost as a crash course in how I decode date numerology. This is just a taster of much more to come, but I wanted to I just wanted to make things a little bit more different pattern, different protocol of talking about the dates more so than I usually do in regular podcasts or YouTube videos. So this will be very, very educational. I want you guys to take notes as we go. Okay. Now, again, Monday, Moon Day, 93rd day of the year. We have a bunch of these connections, and this will be just a couple of days shy, actually, of the next, or let me just call it the mythological character we call Satoshi Nakamoto will be turning 48 years old. And there's a little bit of a decode. We're going to get into this today, but I've been telling you guys for a while now how this date is so important. Remember last year, I'll go into my charts and I'll show you really quickly. We have this moment right here where we had a bull trap before rolling over into the next eclipse that happened in May, lunar eclipse. You guys probably remember this really well because Terra Luna on the lunar eclipse pretty much went to zero. But right here in this moment, we went up through March, just like we are now, and then we hit 48,000, 49,000 right in that region. And then right before we rolled over, we hit 47,000 one last time. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. You guys probably remember this. So this is on the 5th of April, which was Satoshi Nakamoto's 47th birthday. And this was the last time that Bitcoin traded at 47,000 since. Now that is very, very important for you to consider. Like, this information I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, shows that this birthday is coded into everything that happens with the price action of Bitcoin. And we're approaching that date just in a couple days. So it's going to be interesting to see what numbers we get for it, because I can almost assume that they're going to be coded in, and almost like a predictive programming, we could utilize that code to determine what's to come. But just to keep this simple, $47,200 breached on April 5th, the day that Satoshi turned 47. Bitcoin hit 47,000, and it has not seen 47,000 since. Moving into the 48th birthday, and we have some code to talk about, but let me just quickly brush through this. We have Satoshi's birthday on the 5th, following the next day with the full moon. So that full moon, April 6th, it'll be a full moon in Libra. Okay, so moving on. Since we've moved out of the year of the tiger, I have some numbers to talk about because we want to discuss energy behind numbers. And I get this question asked a lot, is like, how do we utilize these numbers to determine the energy that we get? So we're going to talk about that right now. So April 3rd, going back a little bit to tomorrow, we have that code that I was telling you with the number 7 and, of course, this number 43. We have this date being the 4-3 date in the Gregorian system. And all of last year, the number 43 being the 14th prime number, 43 and 14 were positive. So to summarize it, for those of you that are new here, last year, when we were in the year of the tiger, 43 and 14 were positive. Now, the number 47 and 15 were negative. You can see right here, tiger giving you that 15. We were in the year of the tiger, and everything tied to this number 15 was negative. And I'm talking about the price action of the markets, nothing else. So we know some of the popular 15s that I've exposed on the world stage. We have Hex giving you the 15. And if you looked at the charts of all of 2022 during the year of the tiger, you'd see very clearly what I'm talking about. You'd see that throughout the entire year of 2022, this thing was on a perpetual downtrend, and it lost about 95% of its value. So this chart's kind of screwed up, guys, because for whatever reason, there was an update with TradingView and it got rid of my chart. But the all-time high for Hex is somewhere around 51 cents, which is hilarious because 51 is the mirror of 15. And of course, Hex equals 15 in Gematria. Now, getting back to the chart, if we look at the losses in this time frame, it's about 96%. That was all through the year of the tiger. And then look at where it pivoted out right in the beginning of January. And we moved into the year of the rabbit on January 22nd. And since moving into the year of the rabbit, beautiful uptrend into what I call an automatic rally. This is one of the cleanest examples of an automatic rally that I could show. All right. So pay attention to this. The Chinese zodiac plays a big role. All right. And the fact that we had that 15 connection to Hex all throughout that tiger year, tiger equals 15, Hex equals 15, again, a proof of a negative performance. Another popular 15 would be XRP. Again, all of last year, very negative performance. So let's move out of this because I don't want to get too off the rails here. I just wanted to show that these connections to these numbers are very, very important. And I prioritize Chaldean more than I prioritize reverse ciphers. I've always said that too. When I'm decoding, I prioritize English ordinal full reduction, but if I had to give a number one priority, it would be a mixture of Chaldean and ordinal, just regular English ordinal, ABC equals 1, 2, 3. This full reduction would be tied for second place, and then reverse ciphers and everything else is just icing on the cake. But when it comes to the English language, which is the new world language, you want to be using English ciphers. And this isn't even true Gematria, to be completely honest. Real Gematria would be using Gematria cipher, Hebrew ciphers with Hebrew alphabet. Anyways, so getting back to this, we've moved out of the year of the tiger, and now we're into the year of the rabbit. And the numbers 47 and 15 are no longer showing downside pressure on the markets through my decodes. So please take note of that. It's no longer negative this year, the numbers 47 and 15. As for the numbers 43 and 14, which were very positive last year, I still need to collect more data to be confident, but I can go ahead and make a quick call that the 43 and number 14 are a positive impact this year as well. Now, these numbers might seem like, well, why does it matter? You know, but if you don't realize these connections and the energy to these connections, it's going to make being able to determine market energy, direction, and how a coin will perform very confusing to you. Knowing these connections will allow you to have clarity, and you'll understand why the coin or why the asset or why the stock or company has its performance accordingly. So this is going to be really fun deep dive into this number 43 and 14, and I wanted to talk about it specifically because tomorrow being the 4-3 date and having this clean date numerology of 14, right? So As I said moments ago, I still need to collect a little bit more data to confirm that the number 43 and 14 are positive this year, but I do feel intuitively that they are positive. And this ties back specifically to the RAM. Now we're going to start getting into a little bit more astrology and mythology. RAM equals 14, as well as this is Ares, and this is the mythological character, the god of war, the Greek god of war. We have that 43 right there. Again, 43 being your 14th prime number. And this all ties back to the zodiacal sign of Aries, which you would type like this. And now look at this perfect code for this year. You have 52, 25, and 12 perfect with rabbit. 52, 25, and 12 in the same ciphers. We're in the year of the rabbit, so this is why that matters. Okay, so we're currently also in Aries in the tropical system until April 20th, which is the day of the solar eclipse. So we're currently in Aries. If you look right here, in tropical from March 22nd till April 20th. April 20th is the day of your solar eclipse. That's really important to take note of. Now, why this is so important, again, is because we just went through the month of March, and the month of March is Mars, and Mars is Aries, the god of war. And if you look at pretty much any crypto, I mean, through the whole month of March, we were pretty damn bullish. It was extremely bullish all the way until the new moon of March. We could see that on most charts, specifically in the Bitcoin charts, looking pretty clean with this breakout here that we had leading into that new moon. Straight line pretty much. So again, another reason why I'm feeling positive about this number 43 and the number 14, and this all tied back to Aries, which also connects us to rabbit. We're in the year of the rabbit. We've moved out of the month of March. We're now in April, but this still has a lot of code because, as you can see in the tropical system, we're still in Aries until that next new moon. In the sidereal system, we'll be there until May 14th. Now, the reason that's so beautiful, and I consider both systems, of course, sidereal being more Vedic, or you could call it astronomy. The reason I like this is because if you watched my Sell in May and Go Away Decoded, you'll know all about the middle of May. I talked about specifically May 17th through 19th. It's mind-blowing stuff. Definitely go rewatch that. If some of this stuff that I'm talking about right now is confusing and you want a little bit more of a presentation view of how I'm decoding, definitely you want to check that out if you're new here. So let's get into a couple more things about this number 14 and 43. Well, tomorrow we'll be starting the 14th week of this year, right on the 4-3 date. 4-3, 43 being the 14th prime. Incredibly coded in. So we're starting the 14th week on the 4-3 date, 14th prime on the exact date that has 14 standard date numerology. You really can't make this shit up, you know? So this is pretty mind-blowing. Now, I talked about March being Mars, the god of war, and how it was bullish, and that kind of clears up that this connection is positive to me this year. And it will be like that, actually, probably until the next Chinese year of the dragon. And we'll have decodes coming out in the future regarding that. So, of course, let me just reiterate this. When I'm talking about these positive or negative energies, I'm purely speaking to its effect on the market's price action and not on the numbers itself. Of course, there's nothing positive or negative about a number, only the power that we give it. So as decoders, it's up to us to see how these markets fluctuate based off this code year by year, season by season, month by month. And it's really a game changer once you see how this code truly expresses itself. So speaking of Aries and Mars, this Tuesday, which Tuesday is Martes, which is Mars Day, Day of Mars, and that being your 4-4 date. But think about what I just said with Mars and how it's a Tuesday, and we have a 51 and 15 date numerology, just like Mars equals 51 and 15. You could see that right next to each other. And we made an amazing call regarding this Mars connection to the number 10 back on March 10th. I talked about this date and how this date was so important. If you guys remember, I had it on a YouTube video. And I was thinking about this date a lot because it was the 69th day of the year. And that number 69 is heavily coded into this market. We know Bitcoin's current all-time high is 69,000. 69 is connected back to Saturn right there. But anyways, I was sharing how this Mars connection, we're in the month of Mars. We have it being the 10th day, Mars equaling 10. And this was the day that Silicon Valley Bank failed. Like that was the date where we saw the first domino fall in this banking infrastructure. And God of War, like think about this. It's pretty amazing. And I shared that date with everyone and all of those nuances to the code. And it's not surprising anymore why it went down that way. Also, if you really wanted to look at this esoterically, you can see that it is the 56 date numerology, which is connected by 5 weeks and 6 days to the next solar eclipse. Pretty wild stuff, man. Like there's a ton of code, a ton of stuff coded into this, but let's get back on track. Looking at a couple more notes. Want to give you guys as much as I possibly can. Oh yeah, so let's get back to the 4th of April, a couple days away. Remember I was talking about that number 15 tied to XRP. Okay, this is a big decode to take note on, all right? We got XRP equals 15. We have this being a 15 standard date numerology and it being tied 15 days before the next eclipse. You can see that 15 right there. Now, what's amazing about this is it's the 271 days left in the year, and 271 is your 58th prime number, and XRP equals 58. Lots of code in a single day. So for XRP, I wonder how that's going to go on this Tuesday. There's definitely something to that. We have that Mars connection to the number 15. We could probably chop this up so many ways if we really wanted to. We have that RAM connection back to the 14. We have XRP giving us the 14. The 43 is the 14th prime. So we have Aries giving us that 14. We know that this is going to all be coded together through mythology. You guys know this by now. So let's consider a couple more things here. This will be the day before Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday as well, so that would not be weird that we have some energy kicking in. If we connect this day before actually to the 5/5 date, which will be the lunar eclipse, you can see it is 4 weeks and 4 days before the 4/4 date. Just kind of rattling some things off at you guys now. Oh, okay. This is something that I came up with this morning. I was taking Satoshi's numbers, and of course Satoshi turning 48 years old on this day of April 5th, and we're taking off of this date and we're going to put it 48 days in the future, and you're going to see what date we end up with. So when we take 48 days off of Satoshi's 48th birthday, you're going to come to May 23rd, and that's the day leaving 222 days in the year. That 222 number is very transformative, all right? We know how last year went, the year of 2022. We had America's Pluto's return, the Queen's Jubilee, her Platinum Jubilee. She also was ritualized that year. We saw an incredible sell-off in the crypto market. I mean, most coins losing 95% of their value. 2022 is very transformative. The 222 number is very transformative, right? And it's perfect how it lands around this time frame where it brings my sell in May and go away decoded, like it just adds even more evidence to why I feel the way I do about May. Naturally, this being the May 22nd, the day that pivots into it, Satoshi's currently 47 years old. So if you think about this date, the day leaving 223, and we're in the 223 year, and May would naturally be your third month in the system because March would be your first month, February would be your second month, and then May would be your third month. This would be a 3-2-2. In the 223 year, in the 223 days left. I think I might have brought that up in the Sell in May and Go Away Decoded. It's the 322s, the 223s, and that's the number of skull and bones, which ties back to the Grim Reaper. And the Grim Reaper is Death, who is Saturn, holds the scythe, the sickle, because everything is a life cycle. Sickle. It's all etymology. It's all word spells. So this span of 47 days is interesting numerologically as well, because it's 1 month and 17 days. That's the 117. That 117 does tie us back to Bitcoin, 117. You could see that right there. As well as it will be 6 weeks and 5 days. That's the mirror of 56, like we get with the ticker symbol of Bitcoin, BTC 56. Also, May 22nd and 23rd this year, you look right here, May 22nd and 23rd is in the 21st week of the year. And that 21 ties us back to Saturn, who is Satoshi Nakamoto. And we've been connecting all these dots today off of Satoshi's birthday. So Saturn, again, I was telling you, is the Grim Reaper, who is death, and that symbolism is tied to skull and bones, which I was just telling you all about, these 322 and 223 connections to May 22nd. See, this is the esoteric way of looking at the dates. When people think that March 22nd is the definitive skull and bones date, they just don't know how the calendrical system actually works and how it's been coded going back to its origins. So the people who are in Skull and Bones, Yale Secret Society, they know about this. They know that we have a corrupted calendar. They know that the Gregorian system was created through the Council of Nicaea, where they basically created all of these systems that we operate under today. It's all been manipulated by that council. So they know that. George Bush and his daddy know that, and all of them know that. So just want to remind people that once you see clearly what's happening with these numbers and how they're tied through the calendar, and how also the symbolism and the symbolism from mythology, it starts to make a lot more sense why seemingly these dates where we have big events are so random, and they happen, you know, people think they're random, but they're not. They're always coded in. You just have to have the eye to see. And that's what we're discussing here today, how to have clarity in that eye to see. Now, we spent a lot of time today talking about the number 14 and the number 15. Spent a lot of time talking about it in this decode. Tomorrow naturally brings us into the 14th week of this year. And we have the 15th week following up, which will be April 10th through April 16th. It would be out of full moon energy by then, because we have that full moon on the 6th of April. So for me, I feel like the 15th week of the year might be one of the more positive weeks for the market, leading into the 16th week, which is the solar eclipse week. You can see that right here. So I do think 15 this year is very positive as well, seemingly positive. Now, one other thing to mention for those of you that are into astrology, we talked about the tiger tied to this number 15 and how it was unlucky last year, but now I'm saying this year it's fine now that we're in the year of the rabbit. And this tiger is the striped planet Jupiter. So when you are looking at astrology charts, it's normal for people to associate Jupiter placements with luck. But remember, luck works both ways. You could be very unlucky. If you're gambling, you could be lucky, and then you could be very unlucky, right? So think about luck. It has its own duality, and it's not always a positive thing. Some people consider Jupiter to be about expansion. I mean, however you want to look at this, that would be more exoteric stuff, believe it or not. What we're getting into is very esoteric here in what we're connecting. But I just want to let you know, typically when I see astrologers talk about Jupiter, they talk about it being lucky. So maybe we're back on that trajectory this year, where we're seeing this 15 number connected back to Jupiter, connected back to Tiger, etc., giving us some luck, positivity. But we spoke about it all in my past two to 3 decodes I've released, so we don't really need to get too deep into that. But now I want to analyze the numbers, because we have the week 16 being 1 plus 6 equals 7, which leads you into the 17th week of the year, and the number 17 is the 7th prime number. You're getting sevens no matter what. And we're moving into the 14th week tomorrow, which 7 plus 7 equals 14. That would be 2 sevens. And I suspect by the end of the 18th week of the year, we should be seeing this market turn over. So this week ends on May 7th, another 7. And that 7th would land on a Sunday, which is the 7th day in the Gregorian system, another 7. And this is right after that lunar eclipse on May 5th, May 6th. And let me show you one more connection to the number 7. It would be lunar. The word lunar giving you 17, again, the 7th prime number. Lunar giving you 21 in full reduction. That would be 777, your jackpot number. Adds up to 21. Again, making a lot of sense why Saturn adds up to 21 in multiple ciphers. It's all coded in. Not only numerologically, calendrically, zodiacal, you name it. It's all coded with 7s when we talk about Mr. Saturn. Mr. or Mrs., by the way, this is not actually a male. This is an aspect. It is time. It is time itself. It is decay. That's what Saturn is. It's your lifespan, not father time necessarily. Anywho, you know how the Greeks and the Romans like to work by giving everything gender, and then they like to wait a couple hundred years to manipulate gender. It's amazing what they do, the tug of war of consciousness that they play on everyone. Getting back to this, it's just, really comprehensive stuff. I hope you all enjoyed this decoding today. I hope you took some notes and you're able to walk away with something that could be applicable for you in the way that you're perceiving this code. Again, another reminder, there's no such thing as a positive or a negative number. It is only the power that we give it, the power of our belief. As decoders, we attack this whole process neutrally. We look at it through the middle path, and we make our connections neutrally as well. In that energy, this way we could be out of that duality consciousness that most people have been cast under. What we're doing now is we're looking how the world stage operates and how the apex predator makes their moves. Then we're seeing the numbers connected to that, determining the energy, and then that way we know the rules of the game so that we could break the rules effectively and not get caught. And that is the cheat code to this thing we call reality. Let's move into the charts now. I have a couple things to mention, but I want to start with these macro candles on the 3-month. We're going to be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then going into IOTA, Solana, Quant Theta token, and then I'll be opening this up to some questions, and we'll hang out a little bit. Okay, so here we are. This was a 3-month closure that came in right at the end of March, moving us into April. We are here now. It's April 2nd. This was a very important closure, all right? Number one reason is we had 2 months of closes in a perpetual downtrend after we broke support on this 3-month candle, and this one has been a rebound effect, which if you look at the last cycle, it's very similar to the exact 3-month candle we had in 2019. You had downtrend, break candle here, break candle here. You had a bottoming structure confirmed after you had this big green candle come in into your support, or excuse me, above prior resistance. You would anticipate resistance to be here, and it probably was, but since we're looking at 3 months worth of candles, you have to keep that in mind, but this right here is looking beautiful. The only issue I have with it is the fact that we're coming into these levels right there of the months January through July. That's about what would that be? A 90? No. Yeah, that's a pretty long time span. Yeah, we're looking at 180 days of holding that support, and it effectively got broken in April of last year. Now we're coming up into those levels now. So this is making a lot of sense why Bitcoin has seemingly stalled out for now. But you got to remember, the way that these automatic rallies end is on these wicks. They do look like just sharp wicks to the upside, almost like a blow-off top. On altcoins, it will definitely look like blow-off tops. That's kind of the energy we get, and then it peels over pretty quickly. So we could be getting our upside wick this month and actually still close this next candle into July red. I know that's weird, but that's the way this market works. We could literally swipe up to 40 on a wick, come all the way back down to 24. The same 3-month candle. These are a lot of data. This is a lot of data packed into a single candle is really where I'm going with this. Now, if we analyze the last cycle, we could see this moment here, very similar as well. And if we zoomed in and measured this upside wick, I'm sure it's going to be pretty volatile. Oh, actually, so we got about 17%. On the candle itself, we got 81%. So that was about 100% or 90 something percent gain in a single month. Yeah, okay, 110%. And then here, let's analyze this wick on the upside. It'd be interesting to get the specific data. That way we're not just making assumptions. Okay, and we got about a 30% increase off the top right there. So if we were to take off this recent top and add about 30% to it, yeah, so that would be hitting us into around 37,000. Keep that in mind because we've been talking about that like 36 to 42K range for a while now. Let me go into the monthly close, me add some data and see what's up. So we just spoke about 37. That's right there below that 618 fib. And as I've taught you guys many times, you confirm automatic rally when you've broken above the 382, and it's typical to get gravitated to the 0.5. And if you get above the 0.5, typically within the 0.5 to the 618 is where you would stop. But that is for like stocks. Now, if we're talking about altcoins, you can see stuff make it into the 702 fib as high as the 786. In the last two cycles, Bitcoin actually hit the top of the 786. You could see that right there. And you could see that here in this iteration, but this is a little bit more swung out. And this was way less market cap, way less altcoins in the market. So I wouldn't really be taking this cycle too seriously when we're comparing. We're just trying to do our best with the data that we have, you know. Again, as technical analysts, we're using past data, and with Bitcoin, we only have about 13 years. So we just have to be honest with ourselves here. We're doing the best we can with very limited data. Now, as an analyst of everything, I taught myself Wyckoff method and all of my Fibonacci teaching through more than just Bitcoin. I was studying S&P, you know, Russell 2000, NASDAQ. I was testing it across many things, including precious metals. So in that study, I see most times when we do these automatic rallies, we like to come into the 0.5 fib slightly above it, and then rejections will come into the bottom of the 618. So that's why I teach that. And I think Bitcoin is becoming more mature. The market cap's increasing, meaning there's diminishing returns, diminishing losses. It should not be gaining as much as it used to cycle after cycle. And it's proven that now, because if you go from this cycle to this, you got about 10 to fucking 11,000%. You go up from this cycle to the recent one we had, the recent iteration, it's only about 2,000%, you know, 1,900. So the automatic rally should be less as well, right? Now, getting into 40K would be gorgeous. I think that would be like a very psychological level for us to hit in. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen. I at least think that we should be hitting into this 0.5 fib pretty soon. After the full moon, we should quickly be moving into that 0.5 fib. Now that's sitting at 32,000. If we get into the code, this year is also called Year of the Hare, and we have that 32 right there, blatant in the code. And this also brings us into some connections with XRP, because we have this 22, 23, 76, just like Ripple is giving me this 76. We also have that 32 if you want to reverse that, and XRP giving you the 22, 23. So just consider that Year of the Hare got that 32. I believe this 23 connection as well goes back directly to Bitcoin with 23. We're in the year of 5783, which is adding up to 23. That's the Hebrew year we're in, the year of the Jubilee. I've shown you guys this many times. Jubilee equals 23. Bitcoin already made it above 23. So are we heading to 32? As above, so below? I believe so. And that would make a lot of sense into this upcoming month. Mostly because we're in April, which is Aphrodite, which is Apru, and that is all tied back to the rabbit. We're in the year of the rabbit. Rabbit, sign of fertility, sign of the feminine. So this is looking pretty prime structurally, also on a monthly. So I just want to show you this. Do your best to pay attention to where this data is coming in, because right here we have the 236. We had 1 month, 2 month solidified closes above the 236. Here last month in March, we broke structurally through that range. This is an automatic rally. Undeniable now. This is Bitcoin's automatic rally. Now, the fact that we closed that monthly above the 382 as well is even more bullish. This looks beautiful. Again, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a chart analyst. This looks beautiful. Anyone who knows how to read charts knows that this looks very, very good. Oh, wow. Okay. Also, probably by the end of this month, we're going to have an upside wolf cross with both moving averages to the upside. That's really important. But I'm not going to talk about that now because that's not as effective at this moment. Just something that I noticed. So, of course, gravitating to this level of 32,000 is huge because we have a lot of prior support here. And then this was the moment we broke. And once we broke below that 32 level, that was when we cascaded into what I'm calling our selling climax. 32 is a very, very important level. And this monthly close is beautiful. Oh my God. Okay. So let me turn off all this noise and just show you what we're working with here. So we are looking at the monthly chart. Again, 30-day, 28-day, 30-day candles. And what you're looking at right here is the 21 exponential moving average, 34 and 13 moving average, all sloping up or neutral. And we had our last monthly close of March close above all of it. Bullish. Above all of it. On a monthly, bullish. Let's look at bi-weekly and see if we're getting any data. So our next bi-weekly close is about, it's next week, so I don't want to pay attention to that just yet. We have the weekly right here. Let's look at some of the moving averages. Okay. So here we are on the weekly. I'm going to turn on my 8s. Oh, okay. Very, very important. You could see this cross right here. This is the 8 above the 55. This is what I call a wolf cross. Very, very important. And the fact that it's happening on a weekly is massive. This is all continuation signs. We closed above both 200s going back 2 weeks ago. Today, we're looking prime and ready to have a green candle closure. Ideally, it would be green, but we are hours away from Chicago Mercantile Exchange opening. We have Dow opening tonight, precious metals opening. We'll get some pressure in. We have CME opening before this weekly close in the market. So today's a weekly close. I would like to see above the prior closure just a green candle at best. This doji though is unimportant to me now because we followed that doji with a higher high on the wicks. And wicks count when you're thinking about like prior doji candles when we're looking at a weekly. If we're looking at a 4-hour, I wouldn't care about that. But this gives you, to travel through my mind as an analyst of like how I'm prioritizing things. And if this is really above your pay grade, guys, if this is above where you're at technically and being able to understand what I'm saying, that's totally fine. I have so much of these detailed breakdowns week by week through the Red Pill podcast. But if you want to learn the basics, my crypto mastermind course is going to cover all of that. So you guys get the biggest discounts available on that if you're interested. It'll be in the description below. But getting back to this, I think that this closure that we have today being green would definitely be an important closure, but I would like to start closing above 30K flat on the weekly. 30K obviously being a clean psychological level. The fact that we're stalling out here at about 28, I showed you the reasons why before, but we have that full moon right around the corner. This is typically the time frame to anticipate us stalling out a little bit. Let's look at the 5-day. Okay, I got a 5-day coming in right on Satoshi's birthday. Okay, this is looking really good. We're looking at the 3-day right now. The 3-day is going to be coming in about, tomorrow night. And you see this yellow moving average, that's the 8 simple. We are about to have that cross above the 200 exponential moving average. And we've been holding that 200 exponential for a while now, since we've gotten above it, past 2 weeks. So for any of you out there that are interested in how this all works, you want to be prioritizing these macro candles, the 2-day, 3-day, 5-day, etc. And we're holding that 200. That's a long-term moving average. One other thing to mention is the 200 simple on the 3-day is sitting right there at 33K. That could be one of the key levels, again, that I told you us gravitating up to, but anything above that, I think would be the final moments of automatic rally. It would be like, kind of blow off volatile energy to the upside. And by the way, you know what that means, guys? That means FOMO. That means you're going to see all of these all these people on mainstream media just coming out of the woodwork talking about how Bitcoin's going to go to $50,000 tomorrow. Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000. Like, I'm not trying to troll them right now, guys. I'm just being honest with you. This is the way this works. They're gonna start talking because they're talking heads when the market's exciting. And I like talking when it's boring and nobody cares and everyone thinks it's a scam and it's blood in the streets. My main quote when it comes to market is buy the boredom, buy the blood, and you always win. So just anticipate if we get above 30, you're going to be seeing Twitter light up. You're going to be seeing it all light up. And the wolf pack is just going to be kicking back with a glass of scotch in your hands going, I saw that coming. And it's very important, that you just protect your prana during these moments, because that kind of stuff, when we hear 50,000 and 100,000 Bitcoin, it's all coming in once we've been on a breakout. That shit will start to influence you if you allow it to. Now, I'm not here to influence you and tell you that Bitcoin's going to do a certain thing. I'm sharing my gnosis. I'm sharing this TA. You could apply it as you wish. If you have a different thesis than I have, then that's fine. I'm also not against anyone going out and watching other people's TA, of course, but we're just exposing why this market is so easy to predict when retail gets this FOMO energy or they get fudded out. You can see the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index and kind of determine this. When it gets very, very fearful, you look at the charts and you see it, the reason why. If you were to have a fear and greed index for the wolf pack, it would be working the antithesis. It would be the opposite. It's like the more fearful the masses get, we would be getting more exciting. And that's why I'm so focused on this relief rally and been talking about it candidly for so long, because once we get through this moment, it could be like another mini bear market. And the masses that are buying in at these oversold RSI levels are going to be holding the bag again, just like they got caught up here and here and here and here. They wait and wait and wait until Twitter tells them what to do, when they could have been studying every day and creating a trading plan for themselves that they can trade when the market comes their way. So this is the market wisdom that needs to be exposed and talked about. And I'm open-minded to everyone's analysis and their theories. I know what works for me. I share what works for me. Outside of that, I'm not here to be throwing out, bread and circus for people, because the distractions are something we all can do better with. This is the age of distraction. Now we're looking at the 2-day chart. This is looking beautiful. Really, I don't even have anything else to say, because if the 3 days looking good, then obviously the 2-day and everything else is looking good. I'm getting a little bit of this energy, like this peak V-shape energy that we got back here could be potential. And I don't think we're going to repeat this energy necessarily soon. But after like May 5th, we sure could. And I wouldn't even be surprised actually if Bitcoin did push up into that May eclipse. Like if it wanted to do that, just like a sneak rally, that's something I'm open-minded to. And I've been working a little bit behind the scenes on checking out some of the, not only astrology, but decoding stuff for June and July. Like really to just make sure that what I'm thinking about with May is accurate. Like I have been putting in so much effort to find a flaw in my theory about May. Like I really want you guys to know that. Like I've been doing my best to try to find a problem with my thesis that I shared in Sell in May and Go Away, because I could be wrong. And I want to kind of find a problem here. I just can't right now. The thing that's making me open-minded is the fact that this automatic rally that came in 2019 ended in June, and this automatic rally that happened in this cycle came in June. You could see that's June 19th, and this one was June 28th. They didn't have much of a correlation with new moons, but needless to say, June was the month on both automatic rally cycles. You could see that peak right there, and you could see that peak right there. That's why I'm trying to find a flaw. Like if anyone knows about June or July and you have some intuition, some things to share, maybe you're an astrologer, maybe you're an astronomer, whatever you have, feel free to share it with the community. We're really open-minded. I'm super open-minded to finding what you guys have come across, because I want to find flaws in my theory now. Well, it's still April. But another thing I teach is to look at the levels, and have some idea of your numbers. If you're unaware of your numbers, of how much money you're trying to make off of this game, then it's probably going to be really hard for you to determine where to sell. I think that's why so many people fail in this game of markets, because they tend to only go off of emotions, and they need to remember that there is an analytical side to this. There is. being able to make those determinations and keep your emotions on the sidelines is what allows people to be very profitable in not only trading, but gamblers, people who become, professional at anything in life. That analytical side needs to enter for there to be some balance. Otherwise, if you're running off of pure emotion, you're going to be a sheep, being herded by the shepherd, as you know. So all of this in mind, we're looking prime and ready on 2-day, 3-day, 5-day, everything. We have the daily right here looking beautiful. We have the 13 above the 21 above the 34. That's bullish. We've been trading above the 8 simple moving average. We have all of our EMAs and SMAs in bullish posture. Even this 55 above the 200 exponential, above the 200 simple, and the fact that we got this 200 simple back test on March 10th and we bounced this way, it's telling me that this 200 simple is a long-term target to keep on your radar for any bigger pullbacks in Bitcoin. I would not be surprised if we do end this automatic rally and then shortly revisit that 200 simple, at least by October. I have a new decode coming out maybe in about a month or two that'll be dedicated solely to Libra and October. Now, I think that's pretty much enough for Bitcoin. Let me just scroll in really quick and see if I could get any short-term downside and upside targets. The first thing I would look for is this 21 exponential moving average on daily closes. If we're going to pull back into the full moon, we could see wicks coming into this 34 EMA. That's very common. And upside targets, I would just like to see us get above 30K. Like once Bitcoin breaks 30K, I think it shortly gets to 33. And then from 33 onwards, that's where you really need to be prepared for this automatic rally to be wrapping itself up. Oh, one more thing, because I started sharing this for fun with the community. Let me turn 1 second, guys. It's this chart right here. By the way, got about 280 people with us. Much love. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you're enjoying this episode. So I have this clown world chart, but all jokes aside, it's something that I figured out a while ago that was tied back to a element on the periodic table, 247. Let me just quickly find that for you. It's right here, curium. The 96th element on the periodic table with an atomic mass of 247. Shout out to Logan over at Decode Your Reality for introducing me to this system of utilizing the periodic table. I found this on my own, this connection, but if it wasn't for him bringing this kind of coding system to my attention, I wouldn't have even thought of it. So definitely shout out to Logan, Decode Your Reality on that. Now, what sparked my attention with this was the fact that it's the 96, and that is just 69. It works both ways. In alchemy, you always mirror, never mimic. So that Bitcoin price hitting 69,000 on that specific day that it did and then rolling back, it, got to my attention, and I thought about, there's something going on with this. And I went to the periodic table, I saw this 96, and then it revealed to me this 247. Then I started looking at the Bitcoin chart, and I'm seeing that all these freaking pivot points are happening on 257-day cycles. It was blowing my mind. Now, if you just start to analyze some of these with me, I need to zoom in because this is pretty wacky stuff. So this is the start of the Shemitah, and this is all color coded. So this green box ties to this green box. And if you look at the start of the Shemitah, we peaked up and then we keeled over a little bit. And if you take from there to this big liquidity wick, it's exactly 247 days. If you were to know about this 247-day cycle and look off of the 69 level and bring it down, you're looking at that 247-day cycle coming into a loss of 72%, just like Bitcoin equals 72 in basic English ordinal gematria. Mind-blowing. If you take off of all these pivot points, color-coded, you'll see the connections. I'm not going to go through all of them right now because that would waste a lot of your time, but let me look at some of the recent iterations for you guys. It could be very helpful. So we have a couple of these peaks right here before a small bull trap, which led to a a continuation of the sell-off. And if we're taking from here on this exact peak to this day right here, which was the exact peak before this pullback, it was 247 days. If we go from this day right here, which was another peak before a little bit of a pullback, and we go over to this exact wick peak right there, the current high in the cycle, by the way, it is exactly 246 days. The periodic table is lit. When you learn how to use this shit, you could put it to work in the charts. You just need to know how to apply it. And I can't dedicate too much of my time to just this coding system. I know Logan has quite a bit, but he might not even be aware of how I used it in this iteration. This is a very creative way of doing it. Remember, Bitcoin hit 69,000. It's been showing up a lot in the code for me lately. Remember, Silicon Valley Bank tanked on the 69th, the 96 connection that I shared with you earlier. And that's what made me look for this in the code. And I believe I released this video on Patreon a while ago. Probably maybe over a year ago. It was called the 247-day cycle exposed, and I talked about it some more. Anyways, now I'm finding that I want to apply these points to the future dates and see if I'm going to make any more connections. And now here on August 15th, very, very, very important date. Okay, because you can see we had this uptrend, kind of like a bear flag, but I don't even care to call it that. It was just this weird uptrend where we continued lower high or higher lows and higher highs over and over again until we peaked out on August 15th. And then we returned lower and actually continued a downtrend from there into our selling climax over in November. So this day of August 15th is so crucial, guys. And if I measure off of that day over 247 days, it takes me to April 19th, the day before the solar eclipse. This is so insane how coded in this is. Now, I don't know, like, I'm really trying my best to be open-minded and not just fish for things. I'm not trying to just find connections here. Like, we have so many 247-day connections that I've already discovered. I'm just doing my best to try to apply this system to the future. And this is one of the best, how would I call it, examples. Now, I also talked about it a couple of times in the TA chat over on our Discord, exposing a couple of these 247-day cycles to expect next. Now, if you look at this, it's connected to this. And if you take from this peak on the bottom and you bring that over 247 days, look at where it brings us. Right to this peak right here. So let's take off the next peak, which is right there on July 30th, and go over 247 days. And it's going to bring us to April 3rd. Now, April 3rd is tomorrow, guys, and I gave you all that code to consider. If we take off of this peak right here at the bottom and bring it over 247 days, it's bringing us to the 8th of April, which is 2 days after your full moon. Now, this is how we could utilize the 247-day cycle plus the lunar cycle to determine, the overall energy. But I've said this many, many times. The April and March full moons should not be nearly as powerful for trend reversal. It's really just an uptrend to consider as we get closer and closer to that April eclipse. So the fact that we even got this bigger pullback into March was like a gift. You could see how spring-like this kickback was. Undeniable kickback. So that gives us tomorrow is a 247-day cycle, and the 8th of April will be a 247-day cycle, both sandwiched around the upcoming full moon, kind of making me feel lately, especially we've been bottoming out a little bit earlier on full moons. We could have bottomed out in the microcycle going back here on March 27th, just because we're so close to that eclipse. I don't want to spend too much time on this today, but I feel like this sort of analysis is unique and rare and something you're not going to see anywhere else. So that's why I want to talk about that and prioritize discussing these sorts of things. All right, so here we are on Ethereum. Ethereum is doing the same exact thing as Bitcoin, so I can't really get too specific for now. I would just say we have this area to pay attention to on August 13th. I keep talking about it. No parties on ETH until we get above that 0.5 fib. If we go back to the last cycle of ETH, it barely made it over the 0.5 fib before it rolled over. That's kind of sketchy because that would be like ETH only going to 2,200 and then rolling over. I don't know if that's going to happen this time, but if you take the sell-off that we had on ETH in this cycle, it's about 81%. If you take the sell-off we had in this cycle, it was about 95, 94%. The buyback, looking at about 360. The buyback here thus far, it's been about 120. So it is doing this diminishing returns, diminishing gains thing, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious because if we take off this low right here, we skyrocketed up 23,000%. If we take off the C word lows, C19, sorry, I keep saying C word and I forget that you're going to interpret that in a weird way. But anyways, you see we went up 4,000%. So we're still getting this energy of like diminishing returns, diminishing gains. And it would just be weird for ETH to not make it up to like at least the 618, but we can't use hope. This isn't a place for hopium. We're being real here. We're actual technical analysts. We're trying to put our emotions on the sidelines and just look analytically at what we're faced with. And I don't know. I still think ETH is a very solid long-term play. I still also think that there's going to be a massive wipeout of the shitcoin market, which is mostly ERC20. I don't believe that USDC is like the savior stable coin like everyone makes it out to be. And I think that having an event happen with USDC or with the shitcoin market, or they could be both happening at the same time, would bode well for Ethereum. I think it would be a better thing for Ethereum. Ethereum is designed to be exactly what it is. It is the upper air that the gods breathe. It is an integral part to the elements of this whole cryptocurrency universe. It is a critical element called ether. It's not going anywhere. So even if shit happens with the ERC20 market, or if shit happens with USDC and DAI stablecoin, I still think it would be positive for ETH. These are all just momentary instruments built off of the long-term forever instrument called ETH. I know people are going to say, well, it has high gas fees. It's like, guys, this game is invented for you to play around with, but ultimately in the future, it's to not have you be a part of it. And it's because of a lack-based mindset that many people won't be a part of it. And they will chase shit coins forever and keep being caught up in these boom and bust cycles, barely profiting in the process, when they could have just slowly accumulated the blue chips and saw this whole show clearly. Now, I'm not telling you to be a maxi. This isn't about being a maxi. But if you're going to play with altcoins, you're playing with fire. I don't consider ETH an altcoin. I consider it an elemental layer of the infrastructure of all cryptocurrency and blockchain. That'd probably be my best way of summarizing what I think it is. And I'm going to do a full comprehensive breakdown of the mythology tied to all of the cryptocurrency market. I don't know how I'm going to fit that into my schedule, but it is something that I want to do because I know this is a question that people want answered when they find my work and they hear things about like Satoshi being Saturn and XRP being a Jupiter coin or Theta token being a Venus coin. Like, where am I getting that from? Well, if you follow my work and you go back, even the Gematria Masterclass that I released that's over here on Patreon or within my Crypto Mastermind course, you could watch those videos and you could see how the symbolism is right in front of our eyes. It's all symbolism, and it's all through the color scheme, the names, etymology, etc. And once you learn this, you could quickly see these connections, right? Like H bar. I'll show you the symbol here. So H bar is the Gemini symbol turned sideways. That's all it is. The two twins, Castor and Pollux. These are your eyes, by the way, your ojos, your eyes is Castor and Pollux. I'll be teaching all of this, by the way, if you guys are interested. It'll be all covered in the Decoding Mastermind, breaking down how all of this stuff is tied back to the human body through anatomy, physiology, as well as nature. As above, so below. And your crypto market is no different. Your crypto market is influenced off of astrology because all things that have to do with finances and currency are based off of astrology. And the deeper side of the astrology is the mythology. Getting back. ETH looking fine. I I don't think it would be too weird for it to bust through that level of 2000 and make it up to slightly below the 618 on this cycle. I have this trend line right here, which I made red on purpose, because if you look at how it intersects with the time frame between the upcoming solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, it's right there below that 618. That's a typical target. And if I was to just hold my cursor right here, you can see that at 2,400 is where ETH broke and entered this. It just slammed down straight to below $1,000. It's right there at that break. So consider we could back test that break, and we have a very important numerological connection with this, the 25. That would be at like $2,400, $2,500, and 25 and 52 we're getting in rabbit. We're in the year of the rabbit. You guys remember that down the rabbit hole economist? One moment. The Economist magazine cover down the rabbit hole, it showed you the symbolism. And you could see ETH is jumping down the rabbit hole while Bitcoin is dancing. I believe this is Cardano, but you have Biddy over here doing the Macarena. ETH is saying, I'll see you guys later. We got the dollar over here, which I assume could also be tied to USDC, not Tether. This is not Tether symbolism. This caduceus symbolism is very, very tied back to that USDC, but let me show you. You got USDC with that big serpent staff logo, and then you have Tether. Totally different. Totally different. This is home base. You guys want to know the truth? You want to know the truth? Did you come here for the truth? This is home base. You guys know about baseball? This home plate. Let me see if I can get a picture. This is your home plate. You guys having fun yet? It's all symbolism. I'll show you what this symbol is. Your home plate is right in between your phallus and your two testes. This is anatomy. Welcome to the world of decoding. It all comes back to the human body. Home base. Bada bing, bada boom. Home base. Tether. You're tethered. Home base. I don't think the world's ready for me to decode every little aspect of this crypto market, but if I had the time to, it would probably be the most insane shit ever. Because I could just quickly look at all this stuff and I could tell. It's your green heart chakra. Anyways, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. I'm over the the Tether FUD. I'm over it. Fucking over it. It's a psyop that everyone has been perpetuating on the mainstream for way too long. And in the words of Confucius, if you know symbols, you know it all. Something like that. So thinking about this trend line, I think it's important. We could keep this in mind, that 2,500 connection, excuse me. Let's do one more thing too for fun. Let me pull a shorter term fib for you guys. And I'm going to pull this fib from this cycle top right there over to this current low, which is right there. So if you want to know where I pulled the fib, it's from the August 14th high down to this November 9th low. And my fib levels are right over here. You can see that the one spot fib, obviously at the peak, but then I got my 1618 sitting up here at 3015. I'm going to change this though to linear. Oh shit. Okay, this is perfect. I know this is a little messy, guys, but just pay attention to these numbers over here, okay? So the fib I pulled is from that swing high to that swing low, typical fib pull. And if I turn it on linear, because we're working with crypto and we're using a much shorter time frame, it aligns perfectly with this 618 area, which is a macro fib pull going off of this extreme to this extreme, and that would be based in log scale. So this is a little bit more advanced for the fibs, but I teach all this stuff in my exit strategy blueprint, which is included in my cryptocurrency mastermind course. So I like that I'm seeing that 1618 there. It's giving me further confluence that we could see a 2500 ETH to 2600. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I've been teaching you guys this for a while now, that Bitcoin performs just as good as a lot of other things during this automatic rally phase. There's going to be isolated coins that do much better, but they also went through a 98, 99% sell-off, while Bitcoin and ETH didn't. If you go back to this last cycle, I could prove this to you. You take off the cycle low to the automatic rally high, it was about 360%. If you go to the Bitcoin chart and you take off of the low, up to the cycle high, it was 330%, barely a difference. And they ended on the same time frame. This is why I'm telling you that the automatic rally is a very specific moment. You don't want to be thinking of an alt season right now. There's no such thing as an alt season in automatic rally land. It all happens together like a crescendo, and then the music stops. That's my best way of explaining it. Could we see some stuff make it up into like the May eclipse? Sure, but we're talking about a 2-week time frame anyways, and we're analyzing on time frames that are 8 years, 10 years long in some instances. So, damn, I went through a lot today. Let's get to XRP. We spoke about a lot. Oh yeah, this is amazing, this find that I have. I'm glad that I brought this chart up. Also, how you guys doing? We're doing good? All right. I love you guys. We're having fun. So we have from this peak right here, for all you XRP lovers out there and your 589, you could see right here on this date, we have XRP hits $1.41, which is 141, which is the palindrome of the number 14. Again, we have XRP giving you that 14 of reduction, but we talked about this in many, many different forms earlier. Just get back on track. You take off this exact peak date and then you bring it over to this day right here. 589 days later, you guys know about the 589 meme, and it adds up to April 18th. 2 days before the solar eclipse. Like, how many crazy iterations of showing how important this eclipse is can I possibly come up with? I just thought that was fun, like something cute to show you guys. Of course, I don't believe in the 589 crap. That was a big driver and motivator for a lot of people to get into decoding XRP, though, so I honor it for that. I think that was a gateway drug to get people to be, oh, you know, maybe this is something more esoteric. And that's what I appreciate it for. So there's no trolling here. I'm being honest. I'm being genuine with you guys. If there's something that helps people become illuminated to the code, no matter how it starts itself off, that's a beautiful thing. That's how I look at decoding and the simulacrum in general. Whatever it took for you to wake up to this code is beautiful. And this 589 thing is a big meme, but it's funny. Like, and the fact that I got this connection, I just thought about it out of nowhere. Because I've been talking to Bearable Bull a little bit more lately. He's going to be interviewing me tomorrow. And when I think about him and I think about people that are big into the XRP community, XRP army, whatever you want to call them, they're the only ones really talking about this 589 thing. You don't ever hear me talking about it here on this channel. But I do think it's pretty funny that we saw the peak come up almost to 0.589. Like, you guys are well aware that I've been saying that I anticipate XRP to hit 54 cents. It hit 54 cents pretty much in a straight line. It broke through it to 58 cents. Now XRP again equals 58. This happened on the same day that my channel hit 58,000 subscribers. So, bro, we're in a simulation, like confirmed simulation, because it has not traded since. Let me see. Maybe I need to get to like 59,000 for us to break through. Imagine that's how this world worked, man. That'd be sick. Yeah, I have 58.3. Let's go. 700 more. XRP could start to break out again. No, just kidding. But that would be hilarious if that was the way it went. And if you see right here, speaking of the number 59, that is your 382 fib. So it's a very important level. As I said earlier, above the 382 is when we start looking at this being a confirmed automatic rally. So I would like to see XRP get above that level. But in the short term, I talked about this being an area that we should test soon. We got there. I said no parties until we start closing macro candles above that 54-cent level. Let me go back to last week and see how that went. Okay, so it's really this week. If we can get sucked up above 53 cents in like the final moments of this week, that would be a fucking miracle. And that would look beautiful. This is a huge W pattern in play. Mamma mia. Huge W. And I think this W sends us to about 83, 84 cents. I talked about this in my last YouTube video as well, how you want to look at that level. We do have some volume profile built in that range. You could see that kicking in right in these two peaks. So you got about 93 cents and you got about 83 cents. A little bit of volume peak in this range. Thin air up to $1 though. So it would not be weird if we just slid through the 0.5 straight to $1 and then got rejected slightly below the 702 fib. XRP kind of deserves it at this point. Now, I know some people aren't going to be too happy about that because I've been getting a lot of like this energy from people that are newer to my work that are like, but Waters, it's not, you're saying it won't go to $3 or $5 or $2. It's like, guys, we need to look at this analytically. You can't just be throwing around arbitrary numbers. That's not how analysis works. That's not how this works. Okay, you have to have some rhyme and reason for why it would be doing this and then consider the technicals at the same time. Now, given that XRP is so suppressed, could it go to $1.40? Sure. But like, do you know how long it might last there? It might be a 4-hour candle. So who the fuck cares? You saw this happen back during the Flare network stuff and then the SEC case. This thing rocketed up. Look at the wick on this bad boy. Got a 30% upside wick and then it keeled over and lost 77% in like a month. You don't want to fuck around with this project if you're somebody that is like hoping for this day that never comes. You know, I think that's what makes this community here very special is the fact that we're taking all the cult tribalism shit that gets built into these sorts of projects and we're just disregarding it. We're keeping our mind on the truth. And if you don't have your limit orders set on these levels and you're just going to wait for some $3, $4, $5 price target, like I don't know what to tell you, man. And then on the same side, we also have people that are saying that they're like, Waters, I agree with you that we will probably go to like $1, maybe 90 something cents. They're agreeing with that as the local top for the short term. But then they're saying, but why would I sell that? Now, the answer to that is, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but we might not see XRP over that price again until the end of 2024. And after it gets rejected from there, it could come all the way back to 28 cents. There's nothing saying that that is impossible. That's structurally very possible. We can see that XRP has been holding lower highs since the C19 dump. There. But you know, like really, if we were to hold, that's still a return back to 38 cents. So imagine you have 1+ year of accumulating around 40 cents again. Why not take advantage of, like, we're just playing the game because this is a gambling casino and you want to leave the casino once you're winning and profitable. This waiting is never really that helpful if you think about how you could have been finessing this market. So I'm not telling you what to do. I don't want to influence you to selling when I sell. I'm just being transparent and doing what I'm doing. But my track record with this coin of buying and selling it has been life-changing for me. Even before I made my channel, I was getting in on this and trading this heavily, and I learned this code around the same time. And I applied the code. So I know how this coin has treated me, and I never for 1 second had this idea that we would be going to these astronomical price targets. I was always very candid and said, I'm selling here, I'm selling here, I'm selling here, I'm selling here. And I got out, took my bag, and just reassessed the plan moving forward. That's really, how to take advantage of such a volatile asset that has not been really primed for price discovery. You know, if this was a different asset, if we were talking about a different asset, then maybe I would change my tone. But I know how this coin works based in mythology. And until we get to next year, the 2024 year, the year of the dragon, I don't think XRP is going to have its time to shine. And we already have all the scandal and nonsense going around with the SEC case, etc. So you guys already know that. I just want to let you know that we're trying to break free from the cult mindset that has been impregnated into the minds of the XRP army. You're going to fail with that cult, sadly, just like the people who failed with the Michael Saylor Bitcoin maxi cult. You know, people got to break free from all of that. And you do that by learning these skills and applying these skills. I know some of these ideas might be a little tough, a little hard to digest, but trust me, I'm doing it because I really care about you guys and I really want you to become self-reliant, and I really don't want you falling for any of this stuff that the mainstream is spreading. So, you know, again, another shout out to Bearable Bull for having me on his channel and allowing me to expose my truth about all of this stuff, because it's very counter to what most people in the XRP community believe. And through that exposure, it's helped a lot more people see clearly. And again, I'm so grateful and I appreciate anyone who's come to my work from those interviews. It's great to have you here with us. It's great to have more open-minded people in the wolf pack. That's what this is all about. So on the upside, I mean, I think, 60 cents is our clear target, but holding this level of 50 cents is just a clean psychological place to consider. Bitcoin breaking above 30K should induce a move for XRP above 60 cents. And then between 60 cents and 82 cents, it's thin air. What I mean by thin air is that there's not much trading range in there and it could swipe up to those levels very fast. So I would personally be looking to begin de-risking somewhere in like the $80 range, not getting greedy at this time. Really what everything I said adds up to earlier is don't be fucking greedy right now. The greed is going to kick in just like the FOMO kicks in, and those two things will poison your ability to take action in markets. Now we're going to go over to IOTA. I'm going to run through these alts really quickly because then I want to kind of get to your guys' questions and spending some time over there. So we have IOTA right here, classic downtrend. We're looking at a 94% sell off. We've come back into this lower level of prior support in the backup phase of the last cycle. So what I mean by that is here, I'll break this down in Wyckoff terminology for you all. We're on a weekly chart right now, so this is a lot of data going back to 2017. Buying climax, selling climax, automatic rally, test, or you could call it an LPS. This could lead to a spring though, meaning we could see by October we're getting prices in IOTA below 10 cents. Now, if we were to only consider this cycle, which would be a cycle within a cycle, we would have our buying climax, selling climax, and then this follows by an automatic rally. Depending on how the automatic rally goes for the independent coin, you'd want to look at these prior wick lows and also your fib, and the 0.5 fib is the most critical one. You could just look at that instantly. We're seeing that about 63 cents has been some prior tests before it broke to the downside and pretty much lost the rest of its profits for the entirety of its previous cycle. What I don't like about this chart, I'm going to be completely honest, is this is the C19 crash. Okay? This is when Bitcoin was trading at $3,000. This project has come down to the same levels as the C19 crash, whilst Bitcoin has been trading above 20,000. Think about that. Like Bitcoin has been a 9x above where this coin has returned back to at the same time over 3 years ago. That to me shows weakness in this project, and it shows to me that, again, the ISO 222 compliant tokens are just all suppressed. And now what makes me bullish on this project is a long-term Wyckoff cycle with a prior high at $6 means that if I can get in on this thing in October, holy moly, is that a return on investment? Because we typically see what's called a sign of strength, or an SOS, will break above macro closures of your automatic rally. That means that just getting back to the top of the automatic rally in the macro is a 2,500% gain. It doesn't necessarily mean it will happen with 100% certainty. It's that it tends to, more times than none. That's why I love Wyckoff method, because it has that predictability when you're just analyzing horizontal structure. God, I feel like today has been like a class like a university. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I've accessed this flow state and now I'm just like in my pocket and it's feeling good. Anyways, yeah, so there's an opportunity here. ISO compliant, so I'm not scared of it washing away to nothing. But for the short term, for the meantime, I'm not really too interested in this until we get through these eclipses. I don't think the performance is going to be that great on this automatic rally. It might be shorter than typical automatic rally as well. It might only make it up to the 382. So let me show you this. Imagine this was your selling climax, okay? In the last cycle. We're looking at the last cycle right now. And then I'm going to turn this into a fib based in log scale. Now, actually, let me turn everything off and make sense of this for you guys. I know that I said I was going to move through these quickly, but I feel like on this first project, if you just listen and pay attention to what I'm sharing with you now, it'll be applicable for all the other things. Buying climax of the last cycle, buying climax of this cycle, selling climax of the last cycle, selling climax of this cycle, automatic rally of the last cycle, we should be moving into an automatic rally next. Now, this automatic rally looked horrible, like not a good performance. You see, we only made it up halfway between the 236 and the 382. That kind of sucks, but that is technically your automatic rally in this situation. It's just a poor performing coin. It's a poor performing project. Now, if you consider that, if I was to pull my fib the same way, let me just adjust to make sure that this is also in log. Okay, beautiful. So I have the fib based in log scale toggled on, as well as a fib pull swing high to swing low, just like I did from there to there. I can see that the middle between the 236 and the 382 is only about 40 cents. So if we use what happened in the last cycle, that wouldn't be weird because that's about the same performance. Now, the only difference here is the fact that it's so suppressed. So could it have a little more juice in it and make it up to like 60 cents, which are these bottom wicks? Sure. I'm open-minded to that. But to be really honest here on the data, this is not the best performing project of all time. And maybe in that case, it might be best if you have a small position in this to just hold off, you know, on de-risking. You're going to need to assess that on your own, you know. You're just going to have to make those determinations. That's why for me, when I'm playing with the altcoins, I keep it to like 10% or less of my positions. I can make money on my swings as needed, but this way, if it keels over and if it has poor performance, I don't really need to worry about it affecting my overall portfolio too much. So, you know, you want to keep this level in mind around 36 cents into about 40 cents psychological level. That would be a similar performance in the last cycle. You can see a setup here where we had a little bit of a W that reached its level, and now we're in the midst of potentially making another W and then getting probably somewhere about 46 cents at the bottom of the 382. Ideally, it would be nice to see this make it up to 60, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for anything higher than that, unless some shit comes out that's like isolated to ISO 222 stuff, which in this crazy market, it's possible. So set your limit orders accordingly if you're planning on de-risking that. Not financial advice, of course. Now we're moving on to Solana. Yikes. Is this really the chart? No, that's sologenic. It's like, well, what is this trash? Sorry if that offends anyone. Just look at that chart, though. Goodness gracious. Oh, is this the one that I said looked like a golf club? It really does, though. Look at that. And soon it'll look like a hockey stick. I need to crack myself up sometimes. Again, I say these things the way I do to break the tribalism that people have towards projects. Like, you didn't make that project. You don't have anything to do with the development team. You're not a programmer for them. Don't take it personally. If you're taking it personally, you probably have some work to do. When it comes to emotions, and markets don't care about your emotions. The better you get at controlling them and not taking things personally, the better you get at dealing with money and the more abundant you become. Soon you'll start laughing at it all like I do. So this coin had an amazing bull run, undeniable bull run. Ooh, I'm also seeing something very similar in the structure, but I'll bring it up in a minute. We got about a 20,000% gain, and this followed off with a 97% 7% sell-off. Yay! Very well, very good. But now if you look at this W here that had a shakeout to the downside, typically bullish Ws are higher lows on the second V. So you have your first V, your second V. This one was a bear trap. So this selling climax to me should be confirmed. That makes me confident that that's the lows. This is probably as low as Solana's going to get for now. And then maybe October, November, this thing could slide into, who knows, $2. Yeah, it's possible. There's not a lot of data in these charts. This thing's only been out since September of 2020. Remember, one thing that I teach you guys is that any coins that have been like brought to the market after the C19 event, after March of 2020, I'm not super confident in long term. These things can absolutely shake to the downside, and we don't have much data to go with. This wick that we got in bounce, it's fine. And the bounce was pretty healthy too. I would assume this is at least 100%. Yeah, so we got about a 200% bounce thus far. Bull flagging a little bit in the short term. You can see this bull flag, which again, bullish pattern, probably going to make it up to 45. But long term, I think this thing could go below 10 again and slide into $3-4. So just keep it in mind. Just keep it in mind. Now, let me look at a couple things. One, we have this clean clean descending resistance line, which we've gotten rejected on many weeks in a row here. We got rejected there on a bull trap. Got rejected one more time before that big sell-off. Mamma mia. Oh, this was an eclipse, by the way. So Solana, Sol, Helios, Apollo, Eclipse, the eclipsed, got eclipsed. And it's made it over the trend line now, and it's traded about 6 weeks above that trend line. So that's pretty solid. You don't want to look at everything based off of these horizontal levels, based off these vertical levels, though. You do want to look at these horizontal levels as more important. So you add both together, and you clearly see that somewhere around $25 was a key prior support level. Got one test, two tests before the buying climax. Then you came down to this level right there, came down to it right here before we broke down. So we've come back up to 25 and gotten rejected on it multiple times now. It's a good rejection point, but now if we want to bounce and go higher, we're going to have to get above that 382. That's what I teach you guys for automatic rally. I don't know if this thing will have the juice in it, though, to go above that 0.5 fib. This was a very dramatic bull run. It's already made its gains. Now it's in its process of giving it all back. That's what this coin was designed to do. I don't care how good you guys think the team behind it is, or the technology, or the use case. That's all buffoonery. And once you see the truth of the matter, you just look at how much something has gained in the past, you could start to make some assumptions moving forward, especially when we're working with such limited data. If this coin existed back in 2015 or 2016 and went through that 2018 run and then pulled off a 20,000% bull run in 2021, I would be talking a different language. But what I'm working with here is something that can absolutely continue to lose value over and over and over again until it's just unimportant. And that's the clear pill. So on any moves up, I would say this 0.5 has possibilities. We could clearly see it's a rejection point here, which, remember, we're on weekly candles right now, guys. So this was a 100-day resistance. Then over here, we got rejected off of it after an attempt at holding it about 100 days, and we have not gotten back since. So we know that this 45 level is massive, and the fact that it's the 0.5 fib, keep that in mind. If, for whatever reason, gets some extra attention, we can make it up maybe into the bottom of the 618, but I doubt it. I think more than likely we're playing with that 45 territory on Solana on the automatic rally, and then after that, hell is underway. Now we're going to look at Quant. It's been a little bit of time. Much healthier looking chart, even though we're still working with very limited data. Very limited data, even less. Okay, so this one had a nice bull run, had a decent sell. Okay, only 90%, not bad. We already had the automatic rally on this coin. Okay, so this thing's toasted. Maybe it gets to the 618. or it gets to like 160 moving into the end of this month and then makes a W pattern. I would assume that's probably the case, and right now that would be built off of this W pattern. So let me show you step by step what is Waters talking about. Well, right here we have a very clean W, and the 236 fib would be your neckline. So I'm gonna put this up here to here, and you could essentially see that we've made our move, but we could have some more juice left in us, and that would bring us somewhere around 170, another lower high in the structure. And then I do assume that that would turn into an M pattern. So it would look like something like this. And we just see how that measurement could go based on how likely we are to move up. I mean, I don't think that we have the opportunity to be getting higher. One second. Let me just adjust this for you guys so that it's a little bit more accurate. It'd be something like this. Potentially double top on this structure or a rejection right below the 618. Let's be nice and give it to the 618. And then I want to see what measured move target we would have initially. Womp. $60. Pretty much right there at a double bottom. And that's what I would consider for most of this stuff, but 236 would be your technical level on the downside, and the fact that we pierced the 702 already tells me that this is probably the end of this automatic rally. It already happened, and now we're just snaking around. You know, think about how many coins at this moment here have rose up structurally, whilst this coin hit it early, like a year early plus, and it's been building this like somewhat symmetrical triangle vibe. You guys know I don't fuck around with patterns. I don't like to. I teach it when needed, but I'm not a line drawer. I like to do real TA. But yeah, we do have a clean symmetrical triangle here. And this is in a overall downtrend, by the way. Like if you really want to be honest here. It's still taking you to 57. I mean, I showed before the 60. This is the 57, and we're coiling up to the apex of this pattern. It's pretty much going to happen within a week and a half. That's another way of looking at that. But if we're going to move up, you know, it wouldn't be weird for us to just make another lower high. I don't think it's going to go higher than this, though. Highly unlikely. It's possible. Anything's possible in the matrix, but that's your automatic rally. And if it does want to go up, I mean, damn, that's definitely a good de-risking opportunity. And I wonder now, because this quant chart looks so good, it's making me think it probably has some significance behind the decode. Then maybe I'll get to that in the future when that time is right. Where's data at? 1 second, guys. All right, very messy chart. So we have a couple horizontal levels to look at with Data Token, but the first one being about $1.31, and between there and this peak right here, which is $1.70. So that's your upside resistance. If we can see Theta break that level, the next thing I would assume is entering confirmed automatic rally somewhere around $2.40. And the levels that we have mapped out are a little bit bullish. Like it wouldn't be the fairest to say that this is definitely going to happen with certainty, but that would be the critical area to pull back into. Now, this project had an amazing bull run, very similar to Solana, but more data than Solana. A lot more data. Actually, we're going back to 2018 on this project here, and we have a sell-off to automatic rally taking you to the 786. So just getting to the 618 would be comfortable. That would not be weird. Oh, this makes a lot of sense too. You can see this 1618 of the prior pull that I just did is pretty much where we traded back into in the selling climax and where we've started to get a little bit of resistance locally. We also have these two trend lines that I've kept on the chart because they're consistently getting touched. If you look at this bigger sell-off, it touched on that white trend line, touched on the white trend line again, broke through, rejected on the outside of the white trend line, rejected again, and then right here, we start to coil up at the apex of this trend line, which we get rejected at, rejected many times, again and again, and we gravitated back up to it. Now we're just like snaking around in the final moments of whatever this fucking pattern is. This is very weird, but it is a crypto. So yeah, this is a very critical level around $1 for theta, and it's a psychological level as well. So now if we were to analyze this based off of trading range, it looks like thin air until about $2.36. You could see that above these levels of 150, it's pretty much straight to 230. So we do have a little bit of trading range to consider between $2.60 and $4. Again, that could be swiped through with a single wick. So I would be a little bit more confident that a $4 theta is in the cards, at least, or $3.30. Theta also heavily tied to Venus. We can see that 1881.54, which is also 81 mirrored, and then you have 45. That's the mirror. Like Venus is 54, 18, 81, all tied back also to the rabbit. We have that 25 there. We have rabbit giving you that 25 as well. This is all pretty coded, and theta might actually have a solid Q1 of 2024. Might. I can't be super confident in that just yet, but it might have a really solid Q1, leaving the year of the rabbit into the year of the dragon. And something to remember about this is the dragon, that symbolism is back to the sun, which is also light, and light. You have the light bearer, which is Eosphorus, which is Venus, aka Venus is Lucifer. So the light bearer is all tied back to this stuff, and it's a Greek letter. Theta token with that big 119911 reverse. Yeah, and that 36 is crucial too, because that's going to tie us back to ETH. You take theta, you remove the TA, and you have ETH backwards. Think about that. So yeah, I would be looking at that level pretty much to de-risk, and I would probably get a little bit more conservative because of buying that I've done. I've actually invested in this project, so yeah, looking to get out probably around that 0.5 fib would be a nice level. And remember, upside wicks are welcome. They could happen at any time. Downside targets in the future for the October timeframe, 50 cents could definitely be possible. We don't have much trading range there, but we can see this area I have marked off with a wick test. We traded in there for a little bit before theta just went up in a straight line. So yeah, I mean, look at how parabolic this thing went. It went up 2,600% in less than 4 months. That's insane. So yeah, just consider that returning back to the same area is highly possible. And I think that would be a great opportunity, at least for me in my long-term portfolio. Okay, let's get to the chat. Let's see what you guys are up to. One moment. Cordy G, I appreciate you sending you love. All right, I can see Mr. Jansen. Mr. Jansen, thank you so much for helping out today. Really means a lot to me. So we're gonna leave it at that. We have H bar. I already said earlier that I would go over theta, so I don't know why people are voting on that, but all right. And then we just have a bunch of scattered altcoins. Okay, so let me look at some of the questions you guys have, and then I'll maybe check out some charts. Also, I appreciate all the kind words on the 2-year celebration we're doing. It's great to have you here with us. It's a very special Red Pill podcast. I went in today. This is going to be like one for the history books. Johnny Be Good said, "Hey Jordan, my first Red Pill podcast and looking forward to this new life adventure with your insights. I love it. I appreciate you, man." We got Ian with us. I appreciate you being here, Ian. Hope you're doing amazing, brother. Okay, we're getting a lot of H-bar votes. Let me pull up that chart and just leave it there for now so I don't forget. The firm asks, what is the lowest price for Bitcoin for the low structure throughout the eclipse? Well, I don't exactly know what you mean throughout the eclipse, like why that would matter. Perhaps you mean from the one eclipse in May moving into the eclipse of October, because that's really where I see the market starting to bottom itself out. And across the board, not just Bitcoin, but all crypto, all stocks. Now, based on prior iterations of cycles, when we pass through the solar cycle, we never go lower again. And I'm not trying to play that game of, well, like people have said that before, and then it doesn't matter to me. Because if we were to go lower, it's probably not going to go too much lower, at best, maybe 12, maybe 11,000. And it would be highly unlikely at this time because of Bitcoin passing through the solar eclipse and entering a solar cycle. So we entered it right here, and we just went on a perpetual uptrend all the way to the 2017 top. Then we entered it right here, and we went on an uptrend, never even going lower on the C19 sell-off. Now, if you looked at altcoins during the C19 sell-off, all altcoins pretty much went to a new all-time low. Not even Bitcoin got sucked down that far. It maintained structure. Now, here we are. We're about to enter a solar cycle, and I'm pretty confident that 15K might actually be your lows. It might never go lower than that ever again. Now, could it come back pretty close to it? Or if it was to break further, how would that look? I don't think it's going to be far off from 15,000. So whatever it ends up being, it's an opportunity nonetheless. But the lowest price for Bitcoin, I would be answering based off of data that I've seen in the past. And to me, 20K seems like a good return level. Everything between 15 and 20K is pretty much all the same price to me. It's splitting hairs at that point. Now, after this set of eclipses moving into October eclipse, I believe a lot of altcoins can give back a lot of their gains. Like we can see coins go to zero at that time. This is why I'm focused on de-risking and as well waiting on reaccumulation till after like what happens in October, and we'll reassess as the months go by because it's only April. Mr. P said hybrid solar eclipse 3 November 2013 is 26 days bullish after. Did somebody see this so I can calculate this in my plan? It's really good. That's a super OG cycle. I guess you're talking about this moment right here. This cycle looks nearly identical. Just it's been lengthened. Let me show you. So you see this moment right here of June? This is just like this, where we had this bowl energy into a peak, and then we stayed sideways again until we went parabolic. So we have this moment right here, this like kind of bottoming bowl, very, very, very lacking in volatility. Then we have a push up, then we sell off, hold this range, and then just perpetual candle after candle uptrend until the top. So This moment coming in August, this coming in June, late June, this coming in June, very weird, but I don't remember exactly what this cycle was like with the eclipses. I would need to revisit it. It's a good question though. Again, I am so open-minded to how this can all go at this point. We really need to be on our toes as decoders because anything that I'm missing could be very helpful for me to strengthen my my thesis and ultimately strengthen everyone else's. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. But yeah, you could definitely look back at the eclipses of 2013, 2014. Let me just quickly do that while it's on my mind. So we're going to look at the eclipse of 2012. Gonna have some fun. We're taking a field trip to 2012. Well, it looks like we had our eclipses back to back May, June 2012. That's right here. May, June. Hella bullish up until the 13th of August. But we're looking at Bitcoin at fucking $5, by the way. This is Bitcoin at $5. And on top of that, no other altcoins trading side by side with it. God, this chart is so silly. Look at this chart, dude. Insane. This is like the flex chart of all flex charts. Like until another asset does this, I don't want to hear it. Kind of looking like a dragon moving into the year of the dragon. But yeah, I do welcome anyone to go study 2011, 2013, that time frame, and see what you pick up. I'm sure there's some really juicy connections. Eleonora, happy solar return, as they say, for tomorrow. Hope you have a beautiful day. Lemore Atole, I appreciate you, brother. Of course. Just looking at some of your questions now, guys. Somebody's asking about Pulse Chain. I don't really know too much about it. I've had a couple people tell me about it, but decoding or forecasting when the launch of it would be, I would have to fill myself a little bit in on the exoteric. Like, I don't know anything really regarding their launch plan, and that's where I'd be just in the dark. So yeah, I try to type it in and see if I'm getting anything though. Ooh, okay. Okay. We got that 108. 108 is a number that is very, very spiritual. Also tied to the sun and the moon. And I spoke about the number 18 many, many times in my last YouTube video. A bunch of 18 connections in the rules of numerology. You're going to remove that 0 and you get back to the 18. And this 40 connection. Where have we seen this? Mercury, god of fiat money, fake money created out of thin air, which is what crypto is. And we got that 4554 connection again. We were talking about that a little bit earlier with Venus. So you have the 1854, just like Venus. 1854 right next to each other. Boom. Okay, what was it? 162. Let's look at this periodic table real quick. There you go. Dysprosium. Ooh, that's a crazy find. So this comes from the Greek word dysprositos, which sounds like a Spanish word, but anyways, meaning hard to get. Damn. Well, there you go. That's super interesting. A pulse chain giving you that 162 in reverse cipher, which I wouldn't put too much weight on, but I like that connection here to the 66. 6 plus 6 is 12. We know hex equals 37, which is the 12th prime number. We know it equals 15. That's 1 plus 5 equals 6. Another 6 connection. A hexagon is a 6-sided polygon. The hex logo is 3 hexagons, which is 666, which ties back to carbon, but also you got your 66 there. So there you go, fam. Pulse chain just gave us a gem through the code dysprosium. Having fun with the code. Oh, and also this 39 mirrored is 93, which brings us back to baby Saturn, 93. You got the 111 that's tying us back to New York. That's New York Stock Exchange. 5157. We're seeing this code a lot, guys. Moon. We have 5157. The market runs on moon cycles. Let's get back to dysprosium. Pretty cool. See, like if I didn't know about the periodic table, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that. So it's a dope addition onto our decoding. God, this looks like it's gonna be like this is like a transhumanist city or some shit. What's going on in this picture? Let me see what it is in. Oh, okay, that's dope. 4 plus 3 equals 7. That 43 is the 14th prime number. 43 being the 14th prime is 7 plus 7 equals 14. This is all coded back to that number 7. Hex is a Saturn token. Saturn symbolism. It's all 7s. We're just going really esoteric by gathering all these other connections. Okay, we got that 41st prime number. That's the 13th prime. Hexagon equals 31, which is the mirror of 13. That's what that shape is. You put a hex on somebody. It's magic, spelled with a K. Magic gives you 14 in Chaldean. Again, 7 plus 7. It's all the 7s. 44, it's a power number, but you add 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 is the analema. You wave your magic wand and you say abracadabra. We're putting a hex on you. These people don't even hide the shit they're doing, dude. They just call it what it is. Again, I'm not calling anyone out here. I'm a decoder. I see this stuff. I see it clear as day. Hex gives you that 44. Magic gives you 44. Oh, also something that's kind of very esoteric is we have a 19 with hex, which ties us back to Ra, and we're in the year of the Rabbit, Ra. And naturally that 1 plus 9 adds up to 10. That restarts your code. 7 plus 3 in English ordinal adds up to 10. That completes your code. 9 is the number of so-called everything. When you move into 10, you have your launch of all of that energy between 0 through 9. That's why when you're born on the 10th month, being in your mother's womb, not 9 months, it's 10 months. 3 plus 7 is 10. The hex is the womb, the Saturn's hexagon. You have the H, which is your ladder. You have your X, which is your axe, which is what you chop down the tree with, where the druids would make their wands. That is called Hollywood. Wand. 66. Dysprosium. 66. Also 162, 6 plus 2, 8 plus 1 equals 9, and a 9 is just an upside down 6. That is 666. Mind melter. This is mind melting shit right here. All right, let me move on. Yeah, so pulse chain, I don't know. I could decode it all day, but I need to have some exoteric stuff to go along with my meal to be able to digest it all. That 108's big, man. It's really big. Norris the boss said full moon dip not in play this time. Well, it typically we get our microcycle lows 5 days before up to 5 days after full moons. And when we're thinking about like pure blown reversals or really big pullbacks, it's only when we have eclipses. So, of course, the dip is possible. We talked about that today. It's just how exaggerated is it? Probably not too exaggerated. It won't be as extreme. Just reading some of your comments. Basically, to summarize what we were talking about, the weeks of the year, it's that bullish until about the 18th week of the year. And then on the 19th and 20th week of the year, we should be entering a pivot phase of energy in the overall market on the world stage, where we go through the lunar eclipse on the 6th, and then we head into that following week with May 17th through 19th. And I decoded all of that in the Sell in May and Go Away Decoded. So please rewatch that. If you're a little confused of how May is going to go and my connections, that lays it all out really, really, really thoroughly. And it's a solid, easy to digest presentation. I didn't make it crazy complicated. I tried to make it have as much utility and simplicity as possible. Gonzo, I appreciate your kind words. Send you lots of love, brother. All right, let's check out H-bar now that we're here. I've gotten through a lot of your guys' questions that I see popping up. H-bar looking like a big Bart Simpson head. Oh, it kind of looks like a, you know what this looks like? It looks like a octopus or something. Or like one of those creatures from Halo. Those like fucked up looking thing. I don't know what they are, but sorry, we have to have fun sometimes. This is how you do technical analysis, by the way. Wait, or is there something seriously called octopus out there that's trading on the open market? Are we fucking serious right now? I didn't even mean to say chart. It was just on my mind. And like, ugh, is it another shit coin? Octopuses are cool, by the way. These creatures are definitely like high level advanced tech from before the last mud flood. Like, wow, look at how beautiful. Just the colors. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Yeah. Well, I guess you can't talk about octopuses. Maybe we just decoded the truth of all truths right in that moment, okay? Maybe the people that run this world are not lizards and they're actually octopuses. And that's why they just shut down the stream. Can you guys believe it? We just found out the truth. We just triggered the entire octopus race. Okay, but seriously, if you guys can hear me and give me a confirmation that you're ready for me to go over this H-bar chart, let me know. Type in H-bar if we're looking good. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm really trying my best. I don't know what's going on. Let me know if you guys can hear me. It looks like my markets are moving now. All right. Let me do this while I can, okay? Because we had our fun. We're looking at the Hedera Hashgraph chart, a Saturn token, and we're looking at this buying climax, the selling climax. It's pretty clean, about a 93% sell-off. And now we're approaching this kind of automatic rally energy, but we couldn't quite get above that 382 fib, and that right there is pretty much my trigger point for when to initiate automatic rally. So just remember, until we get over this 382 for H bar, we can chop a little bit, but because we're so close to this upcoming eclipse, it's more than likely that we're in the finality of this movement anyways. So let me just double check and make sure we're running smoothly. You guys let me know that you could hear me well and that this is all working. Beautiful. Okay, so I just typed in a couple numbers. I'm seeing what's going on, and this Hedera hash graph giving me the 55 tied directly to Satoshi Nakamoto is making me think that you could see the 55 connection right there. 55 connection, same cipher. It's making me think that Satoshi's birthday might be pretty crucial for this project. So let's go back to the last time we had Satoshi's birthday. And it looks like H bar hit a high of 24 cents. Okay. I know Satoshi gives me that 24. And I also did a full H bar decode back in the beginning of the mastermind community, maybe like a 4th, 5th month of starting this whole project, and full HBAR decode in that Gematria masterclass. So you guys could go back and check that out whenever you'd like. Got a lot of the symbolism in it for sure. Okay, we're getting a lot of 10s with HBAR as well. So we have this 29 being the 10th prime. We have 10 in Chaldean. That's, again, coming back to Mars, your 10 right there. And we have 5 plus 5 equals 10, right? Just with the whole code of Hedera Hashgraph. We have 1 plus 2 plus 7 equals 10. We have 8 plus 2 equals 10. This is a lot of 10s. So just consider that. Ooh, 31st prime. All right, and then HBAR. You guys remember the old logo of HBAR looked like the Saturn Zodiac logo? It's amazing. We got right up there into about 57 cents too. 57 was haunting us in 2021. So yeah, like what I'll get into right here is maybe a little bit of shorter term analysis since we're so close. We have this W breakout right here. We've completed, gotten pretty close to the completion of this back testing the neckline, which I'll show you. The neckline is just right here. Back testing the neckline could happen on this full moon. So what that would look like is a little pullback to this right here and then a bounce. And then your bounce would lead to you to continuation like this. Somewhere into 8 cents, and that's not much of a move, but that just shows you that short-term W that we're up against. Let me turn this back into logarithmic scale. It would just be another lower high. So what we need right now is HBAR to get over this 382 fib to break this 9. It's about 10 cents flat. Oh, it's funny. We were just talking about number 10. And it traded. Wow. Okay. Well, this is kind of a. I don't want to sound like I'm being negative right now, but the fact that I showed you all those 10s before, like Hedera Hashgraph 5 plus 5 equals 10, HBAR equals 10, 29 is the 10th prime. It's a lot of 10s, man. And HBAR literally hit 10 cents perfectly on February, of course, Saturday, which Saturn coming back to HBAR, but February 11th, it hit 10 cents perfectly. Perfect wick. Let's look at February 10th of 2023, or sorry, February 11th, and see if we're getting any information. February 11th, 2023. Oh, well, 42nd day of the year. You mirror that 42. You have the 24. We are seeing that in the code. I want to see 10 days. And 55 days after February 11th, which is the day of that peak right here, would bring us to April 7th. That's just 2 days after Satoshi's next birthday, and it's the day that leads you into a 55 date numerology. And this was based off a day that was the transition day of a 55 date numerology. Pretty crazy, because that's like a bunch of 55 connections, and as well 90. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of code in here. This is a little esoteric, but 97 is your 25th prime. That 25 does take you back to Rabbit by the code, as well as it takes you to 2 5s. 2 5s. That's, again, 10. A little more esoteric, though. But I think also, let me see something. There you go. 65 in the code when you take the whole name plus the ticker symbol. And again, the 102 and the 201, that's very powerful. Especially this year. This year it's very powerful because we know about Event 201, and that was all created by the same Skull and Bones institutions. 21, it's 1221, that's Saturn. That brings you back to the 322 code that I was telling you earlier with Skull and Bones. H bar is definitely a part of this. Like, look at it hitting its all-time high right into Rosh Hashanah. Come on now. Come on now. So this is heavily tied to Kabbalism and magic. It's all Saturnian. Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of awkward with that. But given that 55 days later is the couple days after the full moon that we're having, or what is it, the day after the full moon, maybe that would be your kick in of energy into the finality of all of this. And then we have this 14 to 15 cent range. Perhaps that aligns with the 14th and 15th week of the year. Could be another layer to consider. Also, 5 fives is 25, which we were talking about that 25 connection a little bit earlier. Back to the rabbit. I don't know if it'll make it this high, though. It really needs to be launched soon for us to be anticipating this line of the automatic rally. It's this 15 cent level I don't like. So let me show you why. I keep looking at 15s now. You see this little rejection level pop down, and then we came up. Then we came back to it before we entered the all-time high. And then when we broke through 15 cents, we slid down into the finality of the selling climax. 15 cents is so crucial in this chart. So let me double this. Put it down to 15. It gives us a range. Give me 1 second too. I just want to really make sure that I'm looking at the simple things and not gonna get too complicated here. Trying to jog my mind for some important connections and numbers. Okay, we got the H. That's gonna be important. 8th letter. HH naturally adds up to 10. You keep getting these 10s, man. Again, all tied to Mars with 10. I don't like that. But we also have Mars giving you the 15. And I was just talking about that 15 cent level. And remember the mythology, family. Mars is the secret lover of Aphrodite. And we're in April, the month of Aphrodite. We're in Aries until April 20th. Aries is Mars. We're getting all these 15s. Oh, shit. That's why it hit 57 cents. Yeah, the all-time high of this is 57 cents. Yeah. H bar is the Gemini logo turned sideways. You gotta look at the symbolism and see it's the symbolism where you get the most accurate data. Okay. I'm just keeping this stuff in mind, guys. Okay. Cool. 1 second. Was this February 12th? February 12th. Yeah, February 11th and 12th. And that was the 57 date numerology. The day leaving 322 days in the year, 322, which is also the 43. And we were talking about that 43, 14th prime, the whole beginning of our decode. How tomorrow is the 4-3 date, and it's the 14th date numerology, all tied back. Okay, H bar has given us a lot of stuff to chew on. I like how ISO 222 adds up to the 49. 7 times 7. 49 is the 7 square. And it has 17 in Chaldean, which is 7th prime number. So you have the 7 square and the 7 prime together. Shit, dude. And if you ever get the 22, that's going to tie you back to gold as well, because gold is the 79th element on the periodic table. and 79 is the 22nd prime number. But that's what this sun stands for anyways. It's the 22. Has to deal with building and destruction, creation and destruction, taking and giving. That's what that sun is all about. Leo. Leo is the 15 too. The Lion of Judah. All right, family. I mean, I got pretty esoteric there. I don't know if I could continue to do too much of that style of decoding on other projects, but I saw this one was heavily voted on, so it could be helpful for you guys. Look into some of that symbolism, and definitely go rewatch the H-bar decode that I did a while ago on the Gematria Mastermind. So the Gematria Masterclass, excuse me. Okay, besides H-bar, what else do we got going on? So when the live stream dropped out before, I lost the chat as well, unfortunately. Oh, it's been a while since I've looked at DigiByte. Let me quickly look at Digi. Damn, this thing's a fraction of a penny now. Mamma mia. Look at this. Okay, just quick thoughts. Double top on the macro across, 4 years? This big sell-off into the C19 event, and we've pretty much traded back into that lower horizontal range, into the V-shaped recovery area. So this is still in a horizontal trading range that goes back to 2017. Still in a horizontal trading range. It has not entered price discovery to the upside. Barely an all-time high. So these are all sorts of things that I'm cautious about. Like, I would put very small positions and stuff like this just after I quickly look at a chart. But let's take it one step at a time. We have a buying climax, selling climax, and then I wouldn't even know what to call this. This is a bull trap. So bull traps can also be higher highs. We know that because that's what happened with Bitcoin back in the recent cycle. If you look right here, we have an all-time high, which would be your buying climax. Then we had a test and a bull trap high where we faked people out thinking that it would go higher, but it never really did. It only went up for a couple days and then it sank even lower in structure. That's why you would call that like a bull trap as well, even though it's to the upside. It's a similar scenario going on here. Let me pull some fibs. I'm going to pull a macro fib. God, this is a very deep correction, by the way. Like, if you look at this correction, 99% losses. But I guess if you look at the gains, whew, holy shit, 300,000%. So yeah, like, you see why I think the way that I think about a lot of these altcoins. Like, this thing went up so dramatically, 300,000%. It was due for a correction, and the correction was 99%, and it's held in this horizontal trading range without really doing much price discovery in all of 2021. It's still trapped in these lower levels. You see where it's at now in the macro. It's at the 382 fib. So lower than that would be the 236. That would probably be my target for October. So October, I would want to look at that level. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring it down to the oh, never mind. I already have the level there. Sorry. I'm just going to change the color. I already have it though. That would be like my October levels. And I would even go to say the whole trading range. Anything below 003 and it's thin air, literally thin air, to like, it'll lose another zero. It'll add another zero on the downside. So yeah, now let me take this all off and look at the current structure and see where our automatic rally area is more likely to be. So we have tested the 236, got rejected off of it, and can't really have a party until we get above this yellow line. So it's 0.16. When it gets into 0.18 or 2 pennies, that's when we would start looking for automatic rally territory. And then on the high side, I would look for this wick right here, which is very peak. Like, you see how sharp this is? This is a liquidity injection to create FOMO and then to send it in the other direction. This is a classic bull trap market maker thing. High leverage too. So, well, that's funny that it's 0.43. I'm talking about that number 43 a lot. And then it would be 33, 0.33 at this lower level. That'd probably be where I would be looking to see a dramatic move up. So if this will recover into a decent automatic rally, you're looking at about 3 pennies. So 3 cents on Digi. Conservative level. Yeah, I really hope that this live stream was fully saved and not corrupted in any way, because this one's been going for a while. Patricia, I appreciate your kind words. I got a question from Chris. Do you think it's possible that crypto will be banned and won't be able to buy in November? No. Crypto is the future. Crypto is the new economy. Blockchain is the new economy. Now, when we think of crypto, we have to really consider it based in the mythological story. And that's what makes my work unique, because I look at Bitcoin as the energy of the market. I look at Ethereum, Litecoin. It sucks to even say this, but Dogecoin as another contender in the top. Yeah, we'll get to that another day though. But there are some projects that are like meant to stay. These have been forks of Bitcoin. And then we also have Ethereum doing its own thing. And then we have these ISO tokens doing their own thing. And about 99.99% of this altcoin market is shitcoins. I don't think it'll be banning necessarily, but it will be an event that makes all of this fairy dust go away. And naturally, it will flood that liquidity that's leaving that shit, and it'll go into stuff that has some sense of utility in the future economy that we're heading into. But I believe that Ethereum will probably be the instrument to tokenize the entire stock market. Bitcoin will continue to be what it's always been. And as for what we're going to have with the banker coins, that you all know about, most of you are quite aware. We have so many ways we can venture in this theory, but I believe stable coins will be heavily attacked in whatever this new event will be, solely to push people into specific stable coins, and then one by one you'll be pushed deeper and deeper into one particular one until there's probably only a couple. That will be part of this coordinated event. That will be also part of the washout of the entire crypto market, sans the ones that are meant to stay. So who knows how long that'll take, by the way. That might take until the end of the next cycle. That might not be happening until 2025, honestly. But this October, I'm not messing around with. So I've been very vocal about October. I talked about it with Jason Brashear's Archaics. I plan to do a round table between me, Archaics, and Logan, Decode Your Reality. We're going to all be talking about like how we feel about May through October. How do I feel about Terra Luna? It's done. Yeah, Terra Luna's done. I don't even think Terra Luna has an opportunity to make it up to anything near where it used to trade at. Let me quickly revisit this shitcoin. Goodness gracious, this chart. Yeah, I mean, if it would even make it back to a penny, that would be surprising to me. But the fact that it's fell into this horizontal, let me show you. The fact that it's fell into this horizontal trading range at the bottom and it's held these levels for so long now. Since it's dropped, it has been in this horizontal trading range for 300 days after losing 99.99999% of all of its value. It's done. It's a distraction at this point. You could trade it for fun if you want to play the swings, because just to give you an idea, if you were to make it back up to the current cycle top that it's been on since it broke down, that's a 400% gain. That's great. But isn't it interesting how Bitcoin's been on a recovery cycle? We've been watching this thing continue into a downtrend. Like, you had your peak back here in September just because it was a kickback from a massive sell-off. You see how much I had to zoom in to even make this look visible on this shit? You know, it's like, so just in perspective, it's a distraction. You know, it peaked up here and it's been down on a downtrend. Even March 12th, we can see it made a new low in the structure going back to December. I mean, it's been reverse for everything else, but this coin's been on a downtrend, you know? So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, no offense, but there are some people that are still hanging on to this idea of Terra Luna being part of the market long term, and it was already sacrificed. It's game over. The guillotine has chopped its head off. Maybe that's what the logo is. The logo is a moon being cut in half. I think there was a lot more than 50% lost on this thing, though. Anywho, no, I think this thing's a major distraction. I think that there is a possibility for it to have some bullish momentum maybe into 2024 if it even makes it through the October eclipse. But these are the projects that I think are like, yeah, just getting people distracted at a time where they could be putting their energy into something much, much, much more sophisticated. Lolo Blondo, I appreciate you. Much love. I just covered Casper quite recently. I covered H-Bar like a couple minutes ago. When it comes to diversifying into when it comes to diversifying into ISO 222 tokens, I don't think you need to have all of them. I think it's kind of, you kind of want to bet on like the winning horse, you know? And the reason I'm not particularly interested in XDC at this time is because it's had an insane bull run in the past. But like, if you look at this is insane. Beautiful bull run that this had. It's definitely started to break out into an automatic rally. Like, don't get me wrong, it's currently fine, but I don't see any long-term, as much long-term opportunity as I would with maybe something like XRP. But I personally want to simplify my life. So I like to get value through bargain XRP prices. XLM is fine. I put a little bit in my bag. I will probably de-risk it on any energy to the upside as it comes. I mean, we have seen Stellar start to break out with XRP like it always does. So you're just essentially betting on the movement of XRP with the XLM play. Why have both, right? So for me, I was just dabbling with it. I'm really testing the waters. I'll see how this cycle goes in the short term between now and the upcoming eclipses, but I still don't even feel like I need to have stellar lumens if I have XRP. I just want to simplify my life. I think that an ideal portfolio should have less than 10 coins. I mean, even better, 5. The only time to really have more than that is when you're in the price discovery of Bitcoin moment. When Bitcoin breaks 70K in the next cycle, you can just load up on altcoins and it's going to be fire, But just pay attention to how the last cycle went. It was like monkeys playing darts, just throwing at the dartboard. And people were striking, hitting home runs on nonsense, on complete bullshit projects, because the Fed was printing infinite liquidity into this market. I don't think we're going to have that in 2024 into 2025. I don't think we're going to have that. Definitely not. as historic printing as back in 2020, 2021. Definitely not. So the shitcoin game is over, you know, and I think if we do get this event that I'm anticipating into October, that will wipe out a lot of this stuff. Again, between October and probably the next cycle ending, which when you really zoom out and think about this, crypto's not been around that long. So for there to be a sacrifice of that within a 5-year time period, that is so soon. You know? Like, think about the length of the company Nike or Ford or Chevrolet. Think about that, how long that stuff has been trading on the market. So when we think about this sacrifice moment, even if it happened after 2025, that's still not a long time for this event. It's right around the corner. This October is just, it's pretty obvious by the code that something's going to happen. And I believe if it affects the world stage, then it affects the market. And if it affects the regular stock market, it affects the crypto market. But I get this question quite often about like what's the term? Diversifying. Like, people over diversify in this market typically. And there's a time where you could play that game, but most of the time, like 95% of the market cycle, there's no need to be hanging on to all these projects. Just having a couple is perfectly fine. Okay, I could do one last coin. One last coin. And then I really have to go because my voice is starting to kind of act up a little bit. Okay, we're going to do Eleonora's coin because it's her birthday tomorrow. Vector space. What the hell? The hell you got me looking at, Eleonora? Oh, no. Yeah, this is a pretty bad chart. But hey, I did this. I'm doing this for you. Okay, they're the same chart. I'm just going to look at this one. Alrighty, so this thing went from $24 to 20 cents. So it's lost effectively 99% of its value from launch. Just perpetual downtrend. Okay, I don't even know what to say. Really, besides GTFO. Well, this isn't good. Okay, I'm going to show you why this isn't good. You see this peak right here, how it perfectly came into this peak on March 13th. And then when we had this bull trap that we broke that same level, we entered the finality of the selling climax. So the fact that we've tested that peak low and now we've broken on a downtrend 2 phases in a row, this is done. That was its automatic rally. And this is an absolute shit coin. By all means, yeah, it's lost 99%. It's already come up into the peak horizontal lows, which is a rejection below the 382. And now that it's made this low, followed by another lower low today, this thing is hanging. It's like dangling like a loose tooth. Just pull it already. Yeah. Well, Eleonora, I hope you have an amazing birthday, but I would not be putting too much of my energy or my money into this thing. This is one of those things that I assume would probably break below 20 cents as soon as maybe August. And then by the Rosh Hashanah timeframe into October, we could really start seeing this just wipe out completely, as it already has. How quick this spike up went into that level, though, makes me feel like that was the finality. That's why horizontal levels are really important. If this can hold on a test and get back up, I mean, you really want to be cautious because this range between $1.30 and the current lows is probably where it will trade below. And that'll lead to a lower high followed by just, you know, again, another pullback. All in all, pullbacks. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's smart, Eleonora. Like if you're putting in $50, then it's like whatever, right? Like you're just having fun. It's like the gambling casino, and you never know. Like over the long term, if it doesn't go to Hades, you might make a couple $100 off that $50 in the long term. So that's what's nice when you play with a venture capital bag. And I'll leave off with these words of wisdom. Whenever I help people on private calls with developing their portfolio or an investment thesis, I always talk about this venture capital bag concept of having like 5 to 10% of your portfolio allocated for like gambler plays. Now, if we want to be strategic, we would wait on building this venture capital bag later in the cycle. You wouldn't want to be doing it now while we're in this really chaotic energy unless you want to actively trade it. But if we're talking about long-term holds and investing in more speculative plays, then a venture capital bag is the way to go. And then it's just like a tiny little bag of stuff. You're throwing $50, $100, that kind of, and if it goes to zero, who cares? It's fucking $50. Now, I understand to some people $50 might be a lot. So again, this is all based in your current earnings, how much you bring in every month, cash flow, profits, etc. But you get where I'm going with this. When you have money you could afford to lose, you can put it into crypto. When you have money that you really can afford to lose, you can put it in these speculative gamble plays where it's like the casino. You spin the wheel, and if it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, oh well, I had fun playing the game, right? All right, my family. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. I had an amazing time with all of you. I apologize for the little glitch we had earlier. That was out of my control. I don't know what went on. I had internet. Just no idea. Got infiltrated, which is weird, especially with an unlisted stream. But anyways, we got through it. I appreciate your help today, Mr. Jansen. That was really, really helpful. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you helping out the community. I appreciate D Vortex for stopping in as well to help out, and everyone that showed up. You guys are amazing. Happy 2 years to the mastermind community, and cheers to many more. I mean, I can't even see what things are going to be like leading into the third year. We have the Year of the Dragon coming up. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be fiery, and I'm looking forward to it. So wishing you all a beautiful rest of your Sunday, and this will be saved for playback, hopefully, so I will have it reposted later, and appreciate you all. Grateful for every single one of you. Much love.